Good morning. Hi. We're going to get started in about 1 minute, so if you guys can take your seats and we can start the event on schedule at least. Thank you for coming. I'm Tracy Ford. I'm the director of the DAS Forum. And I think we're going to have a really good couple of days. I'm excited about the event, and I'm glad that you've taken time out of your schedules to attend. So thank you to the audience. I also want to thank our premier sponsors, Advanced RF Technologies and TE Connectivity, our gold sponsors, Axel Wireless, BTI Wireless, CommScope, Corning Mobile Access, Exfo, and IBWave. Our keynote sponsors are Enritsu and Goodman Networks. Our exclusive video media partner is RCR Wireless News. Our lanyard sponsors are CCI Systems, thanks Pete. And notepad sponsors are KGP Logistics. Session sponsors are Buell Consulting, Emerson Network Power, RFS, Solid, Stealth, Davis Wright Tremaine. And our exclusive reception sponsor is Crown Castle, and they'll have our networking reception later this evening. I wanted to introduce you to my boss, Jonathan Adelstein, the CEO and president of PCIA, the Wireless Infrastructure Association. Jonathan's going to have a short announcement for you. He assumed the role of president and CEO of PCIA in September 2012. He comes to PCIA after serving as the 17th administrator of the U.S. Department of Agriculture Rural Utilities Service, a position that he was nominated for by President Obama and unanimously confirmed by the Senate in 2009. Previously, Jonathan served as a commissioner on the FCC from 2002 to 2009. And as a commissioner, he sought to secure access to communications for everyone, including those left behind by the market. And to go off script for a minute, what I think is cool about that is really when we talk about DAS and small cells and where we're going with all of this, we're really, we use the example of somebody taking pictures of, at the Black Eyed Peas and shooting it up to the internet. But really what we're doing is what you guys are doing, what your industry is connecting people to their community. So if you're a college student and you're away for the first time, you can, text mom. You allow telecommuters to work from home and increase broadband productivity for the U.S. And so it's not a small thing. It's pretty big stuff. And so with that, I will introduce you to Jonathan Adelstein.
Well, thank you, Tracy, and good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Big Easy. I'm glad that I got you on Monday morning because, if it was a little later in the week, it might not be so chipper here at this hour. But that's the advantage of being the boss. Get to go first. But it's great to see so many of you here. We have an amazing turnout. We have, I think, an amazing list of sponsors as well. I want to thank all the sponsors that Tracy went through that really made this possible to do the kind of education that we want to accomplish. And we have a terrific program lined up. I was thinking about, I'm from South Dakota, as we were talking about, and I think we're all lucky to be in this business. I come from a place where we discovered gold back in the 1870s, and I think we're all sitting to some extent on top of a bit of a gold mine. We know that there's a lot of opportunity in this business, but what happened in South Dakota, or in California, for those of you from that far away, reminds you that not everyone in this business hits the mother lode. It's a lot of the 49ers came home empty-handed. A lot of the people who made the most money actually were in the service business. They weren't even miners themselves, but people who were selling things to miners. But you're here to find out how to find that vein, how to really mine it and do it right. You're the ones who are taking the time to figure it out, to get a little bit ahead of the curve here, and you're the smart ones I think are more likely to hit the mother lode, or at least to find a good opportunity in this business. So we're here to help you. We're here to make sure that you have the information you need, and I think that it's going to be great. We have a number of wonderful people who are going to help us to get through those mines and those minefields. We're thrilled to have Scott Simone here from Verizon Wireless and his team. Thank you, Scott, for coming out. And Chad Towns from AT&T Antenna Solutions Group is here. I'm sure their keynotes will give us a lot of insight into how to chart the future of this business. And speaking of great information, we have Ian Gillette is here, and he'll present the results of a new study that he finished on small cells. And I'm sure it'll matter to all of us in this room. We have some great panels lined up. I want to thank all of our panelists for coming out, from public safety to BYOD, Wi-Fi, and other exciting innovations. We're sure to get some excellent perspective on where the market's heading from a variety of the true leading thinkers that we have on tap. And if that's not enough, of course, we're taking you to see DAS installations in the French Quarter and at the Ritz-Carlton down the street. And we'll see how the city keeps people connected, whether they're visitors or people that live here, and we'll throw in some great networking opportunities in between. First, I want to just very briefly give you an update on our recent advocacy efforts. We've had a very successful run recently. We got, over the last year, some policy wins that are already helping DAS and small cell deployment. And the DAS Forum was instrumental in bringing these about. In February, we had some good news from the D.C. Circuit that upheld the FCC's pole attachment order. That'll set timeline for getting our equipment up on poles, and it gives us access to the tops of the poles. It also creates parity in the rate formula, so there aren't some that are being charged significantly more than others to use the same facility. The DAS Forum, in conjunction with PCIA, really led that effort, and we won these more uniform rates and timelines, and then we helped the FCC to win the court case. So we are all set. And with that strong result from the court, DAS Forum and PCIA are continuing to work with the state public utility commissions. We're raising awareness of the benefits of these sound pole attachment regulations. You know, we always get into a little bit of a back and forth on these things, but ultimately, these policymakers need to know that that's what their constituents need. We've already had a big win in Connecticut where last August, the state PUC adopted rates that were set by the FCC. In the comments and policy positions that we advocated at the DAS Forum and PCIA were cited when it made its decision. Also in February, the FCC unanimously set rules for the first time governing the use of third-party wireless signal boosters. The DAS Forum's heavily cited in that order as well. The language we suggested is used extensively throughout the definitions. The order creates two categories of signal boosters, consumer boosters and industrial boosters. For years, we've been trying to get that done. The DAS Forum have been trying to distinguish between them, dating back to our 2009 effort, but now we've gotten it done this year. And last but certainly not least, DAS joined the macro sites in a big win in the spectrum legislation that Congress enacted last year. It had provisions to allow a co-location by right, modification by right, that were really the largest expansion of wireless broadband opportunities in legislation, including DAS, in any recent memory. Not only that, but in January, we got the FCC to clarify the terminology specifically related to DAS and small cells. At our request, they specifically define these things, and it's especially important, I think, that the FCC defined the term base station, which was part of the legislation, to include DAS and small cells. So the DAS Forum is playing a key role when policymakers want to know about these technologies, they want to know about these services, they know to come to us. And very fortunately for us, they're taking what we suggest and implementing it, because they literally come to us and ask how we can help. They know that we need to get more capacity out quickly. So we're, for example, the FCC reached out to us recently. They're doing a forum on these small cells. It was focused on indoor deployment of small cell sites. So they asked us to help them develop their panels, and we identified some of our members who spoke there. So our staff, Tracy Ford, who started us off today, and Zach Champ, who's here, are really recognized as the leaders in the field. If you don't know them, many of you already do, but be sure to take the time to get to know Tracy or Zach or the rest of our team. They're out there speaking regularly about how DAS and small cells can be utilized in network deployment. So they need to hear from you if there's something you want us to get out there, and we need to take your expertise and bring it to the policymakers who are making decisions that affect your jobs day in and day out. So we're in a good place. I mean, the long and short of it is policymakers get it. I think we have the wind at our backs in Washington and in some states. In other states, we don't. But on a national level, policymakers are saying we make it a priority to get broadband, wireless broadband everywhere. And when we talk to folks at the White House, we talk to folks at the FCC or Congress, I'm getting the sense there's a real understanding of the need for infrastructure to be deployed more quickly because they get the skyrocketing demand. So we have an incredible opportunity before us. And what you folks deliver is really what people are demanding: more wireless broadband capacity, more wireless broadband everywhere, And we know that this service makes us more productive, more engaged. Instead of talking about antennas or towers or transmission, when I go to folks and talk about what we do, I say we enable educational opportunities for our kids. We enable public safety to go into a burning building and get the blueprints downloaded before they go in there so that they can go home that night and see their kids. We're there to help people, our grandparents who might need to be monitored at home in an apartment building that now has DAS thanks to the insight of some forward-thinking apartment builders that are in this room today. So we are really honored to represent all of your interests in front of policymakers in Washington and the states, making sure that we get that service out to folks. And in that spirit, I wanted to make an announcement this morning. Tracy alluded to it. We have some news to make. We got Jeff here in front ready to take this down because effective immediately, right as of this minute, the DAS Forum is transitioning to a new name. We are now, drum roll please, the HETNet Forum. That's our logo. It has many levels of meaning we can discuss throughout the event, whether those are propagation maps or just a lot of different thoughts or whatever you might want it to be. But the fact is that this is the place where the HETNet is going to be discussed. And this is a big move for us. I think it reflects our increasingly diverse membership. It fits our real sharp focus on advancing the variety of small cell network architectures that are developing, and the proliferation of new deployments work in conjunction with macro sites to create real blanket coverage. So we've got different size bubbles there. It's been said that DAS is the original small cell solution. When we formed the DAS Forum in 2006, not that many people had really heard of DAS at that point. It took vision, and thanks to many people that are here in this room, we took that vision and made it a reality. And now people have heard of DAS. But not everyone's heard of HETNet yet, but hopefully after they see this logo, they will have. But when we get done, I think we will try to make this something that everybody understands how this network works with all kinds of different things. Not DAS is part of it, and it's more than DAS. Microcells, picocells, Wi-Fi, and remote radio units. This is really the future of the network, and you're deploying the innovative solutions that deliver consumers fast and seamless service. So all this will really complement, I think, the macro sites. Both are needed, and much more of both of them to make the network handle this data tsunami that we're facing. And we'll support the nationwide public safety network, FirstNet. We talked about that a bit. We had an event in Washington recently on FirstNet. We had a member of the board, we had the White House, we had people from Congress, the head of the NTIA. Like I said, indoor solutions are necessary for public safety when they go into a building. Having ubiquitous coverage is something they're looking for. So we want to be part of that, and we're talking to them about that. There's so many opportunities like that. As more small sites are deployed, we're helping policymakers understand the value that you bring and how it's an increasingly central part of delivering broadband to consumers, to first responders, and everyone in between. So we, at the HETNet Forum, I can say that now, we're going to continue to advocate for the policies and regulations of small cells, help you streamline their deployment. Our job is to help you every day, make your job easier so you can do what you do best. We know that the components that make up the HETNet shouldn't be subject to historic and environmental preservation requirements that were written before DAS and small cells even came into use. Every little node shouldn't be treated like it's some giant macro site. Earlier this year, we submitted a report that was authored by a renowned historic preservation expert at the FCC, and it details how current policies are hindering DAS and small cell deployment. And we told the FCC what they can do about it. I know some of you were deeply involved in that process, and I thank you for your efforts helping us with that. And there's a lot more to come. FCC is exploring new spectrum opportunities in 3.5 and the 5 gigahertz band. It's working to streamline federal contracting across agencies through an executive order the president put out. And of course, FirstNet is moving forward quickly. So HETNet Forum members know that we're out there representing your interests. These fights are happening not just in Washington, but in states across the country. And we work with all of you to develop our agenda. And we're going to make sure we can deploy next generation wireless technology and using every tool in your toolbox to help meet the incredible mobile data demand. So we're excited about this change to the HetNet Forum. It means, I think, even more growth opportunities for us all. Of course, we'll continue to represent DAS as we always have, but this move allows us to take on issues relevant to the entire small cell universe, issues of interest to a lot of our members. It also allows us to conduct outreach to the entire wireless ecosystem. And we've been gathering more and more support at PCIA. We're getting new members like Alcatel-Lucent, like Motorola, that have joined recently, Boingo. So I think it helps us, the larger umbrella, to educate stakeholders about how essential small cells are to keeping people connected everywhere. That strengthens, not dilutes, our efforts to promote DAS. And coming in 2014, we're going to host the first HetNet Expo, an event exclusively focused on small cells. It'll showcase what your companies are doing to handle the mobile data crunch. So there's a lot to look forward to in the future. There's a lot to look forward to in the next 2 days. And I hope you all have a great conference. Enjoy your time here. And thank you for being part of the HetNet Forum. I can finally say that. Happy prospecting. Thanks.